everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome to my Tuesday Facebook Live to Go class. I am April Davis. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! In Spring Hill, Kansas, and I'm so glad to have you here today. The bundle that we're working with today is so fun and I can't wait to show it to you. But before we do, I'm actually going to share a few of the things that I have going on right now, some activities that I've got going on that I want you to be aware of. And then once we get through that, then I will go ahead and update you or show you the new to-go class that we're doing. So let me switch the screen just so that I can bring it in. One of the things that I'm working on, and I'm partnering with my friend Tina in Canada, is an heirloom arrangements kit. These are kit alternatives. So when you sign up for this kit, and I'll show you where to do that in just a second, but when you actually sign up for this class, you are going to receive the kit. You're going to receive all of the product that you need in order to create the alternatives. I just lost that word. The alternatives. Plus, you'll be part of a special Facebook group, and on that you'll have access to. On May 5th, we will post all of the information for the alternatives. You'll get this ahead of time. You'll get it ahead of May 5th, and all my information is on the website. But that being said, we will be posting videos to show you how to do it. So let me just show you really quickly what you're going to get. Obviously, you're going to get the kit and all of the fun stuff that comes in the kit, but you're going to get enough materials to create 10 alternative cards. And I'm just going to give you an example of just some of the alternatives that we've got. So I'm doing 5 alternatives, and Tina is doing 5 alternatives. And so fun. This is a gift card holder. So beautiful kit, lots and lots of ephemera to work with. So that's the heirloom arrangements alternative event, and I'll show you where to find that in just a second. Additionally, I'm partnering with a friend in New York, Marcia, and we are utilizing the Linked Together stamp set and bundle, and we're going to actually share a technique class with you. So with this, you're going to get a full packet of the beautiful Bokeh DSP. You're also going to receive a blending brush with this kit. You're going to receive a silicone mat with this kit, and you're also going to receive a pack of the iridescent foil gems. All of these are going to be utilized along with the not the DSP, but the cardstock that you're going to utilize in order to create these cards. And each of these cards will have a different technique. So again, just a sample of the cards you're going to get. I'm doing 5 of them, and Marcia is doing 5 of them. But we've got this card, and we've got this fun card. Look at this one. How fun is that? Another wishing you a happy day. And then last but not least, from my cards, this enjoy card. Marcia will have 5 additional cards for you. So again, this kit actually, or this class registration ends on the 18th, which I believe is Friday. So if you're interested, you need to go out to my website. And again, I'll show you where in just a second. Okay, also going on, registration is still open for my Create Happiness bi-monthly card club. This month we're using the mixed florals bundle. So much fun. Now about the bi-monthly card club, the Create Happiness card club, it is more stepped up. It's more for avid crafters who really want a bit of a challenge. You're going to get everything you need. You're going to get some designer series paper for it. You'll get a half pack of the mixed media florals. You'll get a 6 by 12 inch pack of that. You'll also get a full bolt of our gold ribbon. How fun is that? And then you also get a pack of the iridescent faceted gems. So that will come in your kit along with the cardstock that you're going to need in order to create the cards. And let me just show you the cards. Oh, and I also wanted to mention you're going to get a tutorial and you're going to get videos of each of the cards and how to make the cards because they are stepped up. So let me just show you really closely the cards that you're going to be making in this kit this month. How pretty is that? We have another one. We've got this one that opens up like this. We've got a trifold one that opens up. How fun is that? And then we've got a little note of appreciation here. So those are the cards that you're going to be creating in this kit. And this kit registration ends, I believe, on April the 20th. I'll show you where you're going to be able to reach that. I also have one more kit that I do. This is the Crafting Happiness Kit. This is a monthly card kit. These are clean and simple cards. This month, I'm featuring the Textured Notes stamp set and dies, and these dies are amazing. I love all of the texture to these rectangles. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but we're going to be utilizing that. You will be receiving in this kit a pack of designer series paper. It's a 6x12 pack of the woven textures paper. You're going to receive a pack of the neutral matte dots for your cards, and you're also going to receive a pack of linen thread. So you'll get this and all the cardstock that you need to create these cards, and you'll create 2 of each of these cards. So we have a little note of appreciation. You are seriously the best. Thank you. And another thank you card. And with this, you don't receive a video tutorial, but you do receive a written tutorial because, again, these cards are fairly simple. But these are the cards that you get every month that it just comes right to your doorstep. It's an automatic billing. You automatically receive your kit every month, and we'll have lots of fun creating them. So let me see. I went blank on my screen. I want to bring you back up here, and basically we're at my website because I want to show you where you can find all of these things. I'll also have the links posted in the descriptions for both Facebook and when this gets uploaded to YouTube, because it will be uploaded to YouTube. So you go into aprildaviscreations.com. Let me see. Can I bring that up? aprildaviscreations.com. And then you're going to come down to clubs and classes, and the link to Gather Technique Time class that I shared with you that I'm doing with Marcia. Let's see, it's spinning, it's going slow, but these are the cards that you're going to be utilizing in that class. And then we've got the heirloom arrangements class. So pretty. This kit is amazing, and the alternatives that you can make are so fun. Then we've got the Create Happiness Club. This is the bi-monthly club. These are the cards you're going to be making in the Create Happiness Club. And then you've got the Crafting Happiness Club, which is the monthly card club. And these are the cards that you'll be making there. So everything that you need to know about what to do with these classes and clubs are on my website. All right, anything else? Oh, I probably should share with you as I go back up that this is a to-go class. The class itself is free. If you want the kit for free, which includes all the cardstock, designer series paper that we're utilizing, all of that will come free when you place an order in my online store. I don't do any stamping, so of course if you want the cards to look exactly like I've created them, then you're going to want to make sure that you have this bundle. And I'm coming back now, and I'm going to share with you the bundle. So let me go over to my desktop, and there we go. I'm going to take this down, and let's look at the cards that we're going to be making. These cards are so fun. We're utilizing the Humble Home bundle. It comes with a stamp set, and it comes with a punch. How easy is that? Stamp set and punch. And today we're going to create these 3 cards. We've got the Welcome Home card, we got From Our House to Yours, and then we just have a Sweet Home card. So this could be for somebody who is moving into a new home, or maybe just purchased a new home, but fun home cards. All right, so let me share with you, we're going to be utilizing the Everyday Happiness Designer Series paper. So you'll see that. I love this paper, and you can see all my little pieces and scraps and everything, but let me see if I can show you the various sides to it. The flowers. You get 2 of each sheet. I've combined several sheets together. So we've got this that we're utilizing today. And then additionally, we're going to be utilizing the wild wheat ribbon. And we're utilizing the iridescent faceted gems. So let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. And let's see, we're going to start with this one. So let me bring out the kit. And in this kit, we have Smoky Slate cardstock. We have our Designer Series paper. I have a piece of basic white that I have actually cut out. Let me see, do I have? Yes, I do. The Stylish Shapes dies. I use these all the time. You know, these are staple in my studio. But I've used the largest to go ahead and cut that out. And then you will also see this piece, I'm going to repurpose it for another card. So I'm going to move this over to the next card. And then we've got a piece of basic white that we're just going to stamp on and punch. And then I've got a teeny piece of basic gray. Let me see if I can get it to come out. Basic gray that's going to be part of the card as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me move stuff out of the way. I have a lot of stuff that I was showing you, and it's all in my way now, so I got to move it out of the way. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and get our card base folded up. So we'll go ahead and fold that up. I'm going to burnish it, and then I'm just going to set this out of the way. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this piece to the back of the basic white. So let's go ahead and get that done, and I'm just going to take my glue. And I'm just going to put it along the edges of this cardstock. And then what I can do is I can then center this over the top. Get it centered. Nobody's going to see it, so it doesn't really matter if it's centered or not. But we'll set this off to the side, and then we're going to adhere it to the card base. But I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to set this off here, and we are actually going to do some stamping. So now that I've got my fingers all sticky, which are the cons of using the glue. I love the glue. I will always use the glue, although I do use the Stampin' Seal as well. But I love the glue because it gives me some flexibility. So I'm bringing in the stamps that I want to utilize for this particular card. And let me see, do I have them all? I've got a door here that we're gonna, and some windows. I've got that one, and let me see, from our house to yours, let me see. I may need to pull that one out of the kit, or the stamp set. So from our house to yours, do I have this here? From our house to yours. Okay, so we've got that. And I'm gonna get another block, and we'll be ready to start doing some stamping. All right, so let me go ahead and grab this. And then I'm going to be working off of my Stampin' Pierce mat because these are photopolymer stamps. And I have a piece of scrap that I'm going to use because I'm going to be doing some stamping off. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually stamp the house. So this is the outline of the house. We're going to stamp that in I'm going to stamp it in basic black. I think, actually, I'm not going to stamp it in basic black. I'm going to stamp it in basic gray. So let's go ahead and get this inked up. We're going to be punching this out. So one of the things that I just wanted to show you is when I'm working with this, with a punch, it doesn't matter which punch it is, with a punch, you want to pay attention to how the paper goes in. So my paper is going to go in this way. So what I would like to do is make sure that when I stamp, I'm not stamping at the top of the paper. I'm going to stamp at the bottom of the paper. And the reason for that is it's going to make it easy when I put my image in to stamp it. If I put it in and I stamped it at the top, I wouldn't be able to get it all the way in to be able to punch it out. So just double checking on that. So now I know I want to stamp my image at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Okay, so we've got that. And let's go ahead and get this cleaned off real quick. And then we're going to bring out our bricks. And let me see, here are our bricks. So I'm going to stamp those, and I'm going to actually stamp those in Smoky Slate. And I'm going to do a test because I think what I did the last time when I stamped this is I stamped off, and I used a second generation stamp because I think this might be too dark. But let's just test it out to see. I didn't get my stamp covered completely. Yeah, that's going to be a little dark for me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ink this up. Make sure I get it inked up completely. I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to line it up. And I'm going to stamp again. Okay. And now I have a nice soft gray. You can see the difference. So let's go ahead and get this closed up. Clean that stamp off. And I'm going to bring in my roof stamp, and we are going to stamp that in the Lost Lagoon. So let me go ahead and do that. Get this inked up. Make sure I'm looking through. That's the nice part about the photopolymer, is you can look through to make sure that you're getting things, the stamp coated with the ink appropriately. So I'm going to line this up like so. There we go. Now we've got our roof on. I'm going to clean this off. Close my ink up so I don't get it on me. And then I've got some Stampin' blends. I'm going to take the Stampin' blends and I'm actually going to do a little bit of coloring I've got some little trim here and my windows and such. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my dark Lost Lagoon. I'm going to take the bullet tip point and I'm just going to very carefully color in this trim down here. So we'll get that done. These cards are so pretty and they were so easy to make. I had really a lot of fun with these cards. Not that I don't have fun with all my cards, but you know, it's always kind of fun to shake things up, and I love using the punch. So I've got that colored in now. I know it's hard to see. Let me get the windows colored in and then I'll show you. And then I'm going to actually use the light Wild Wheat. Now, I am really, really sad. Wild Wheat is an ink color that is leaving us. And you've probably heard me mention this before, but initially I wasn't that fond of Wild Wheat, but it has grown on me and I love the Wild Wheat now. But look how pretty that all worked out. So now what I can do is I can take my punch. I'm going to line up my image, and you can press just a little bit on it to kind of hold it in place. So you make sure you're getting it lined up the way you want it. And then I'm just going to punch. And now I have my image. And I've actually got a couple of little pieces that I might put off to the side. Who knows? I might need them. Now, before I actually glue this down, I want to go ahead and I want to stamp my sentiments. So I am, and actually, I probably should have stamped my sentiment before I glued this down to my designer series paper, because if I mess up, I'm not going to be able to just flip it over, right? So that's my bad. I get excited and I forget, and I need to remind you guys to do your stamping before you do your gluing. That way, if we do need to make some adjustments, we can. All right, moving this off to the side, I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to do my very best to get it straight. Pretty darn good. Okay, got lucky there. All right, and I did stamp that in the basic gray. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this off. And now we can start to assemble this card. All right. So let's go ahead. We can go ahead and do this. I'm going to add some more adhesive to the back, and we're going to adhere this to our cardstock base. So I'll go ahead and get that. And I'm going to turn this around and align it. And then if I don't get it straight, no problem, because I've got wiggle room with this glue. So let me go ahead and get that set up. All right, I feel a cough coming on, excuse me. All right, remember this little piece we had here? This is gonna be a base, and I'm gonna tuck it in under here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue to the back of it. And our house is going to sit up on that. So I've got a little bit of glue to the back here. And let's go ahead and get that centered in. Okay, now what we can do is we can take this part of the house and I'm going to put some some dimensionals behind it, and we're going to pop it up. So if you're watching, please do say hello. I love it when you like and share my videos. Typically, I do a drawing for anybody who likes and shares. I can see who likes and shares and comments on my Facebook Live. If you like and share on YouTube, I just need you to put a comment that says that you liked and shared, and your name will go into a drawing. I didn't have any new names this month for a drawing today, but that just means that there's still days in the month that you can go ahead, and I'm going to actually put this up just a little bit because basically what I do is I do a drawing every week. If you've won this month, I still love the fact that you like and share, and you'll go into a drawing for if you like and share next month. So we're going to do one drawing a month per person. But you can like and share all the time. All right, let me go ahead and get some ribbon here so I can get my little bow tied. And we'll let me cut off just a little bit more of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. And let me get my bow tied. And then we'll use some glue dots to attach this bow. And then we can add some bling to this card. Okay. Almost there. Perfect. I'm going to trim this up here. Trim this up here. Maybe a little bit more. Perfect. Get my scraps out of the way. I'm going to grab my glue dots. And since it's a big bow that I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put just a couple down just to give it some reinforcement. So there's one glue dot. Here's a second glue dot. All right. And then we'll take our bow and we'll put it right here. And then I'm going to bring the embellishments in. And let's put one right here on the heart. And then we'll put some more on each. Let's see. I think what I'm going to have to use is I can't get my pick under it, so I'm going to use my little putty end. And we'll put one up here and one here. And then let's go ahead and do another one. Let's see, over here and down here. All right, move these out of the way. And we have our first card completed. Isn't that pretty? From our home to yours. Fun note. All right, let's move into card number 2. So card number 2, we're going to do this one. And I saved the circle from the last card when we punched that out. So if we bring this one in, we've got basic white cardstock. I have a piece of the Designer Series paper. I have another piece of Designer Series paper. And then, of course, we've got this. And then we've got some scraps. So these are some scraps that I was utilizing previously. But let's go ahead and we'll get our stamping done first. So I'm going to bring my mat back in again. And this time we're going to stamp the house directly on the circle. So I'm going to actually bring the bricks in. And where's my scrap paper? We're going to stamp in Lost Lagoon. But I think I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to do second generation stamping. So let's go ahead and get our bricks all coated. I need to get a good coating of it. And I'm just going to test it right now. So I've got first generation. And first generation's pretty dark. So that means that I'm going to bring this back in, get it coated up really well. I'm looking through. I want to make sure everything gets coated. We're going to do a first generation stamp, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do a second. And I'm going to make sure to bring it down a little bit because I have to put a roof on it. So let's go ahead and do this one here. Okay, we've got that. Close this up, clean off this stamp, and then we'll stamp the roof in basic gray. So let me pull that off. And find my basic gray, bring it in, go ahead and stamp it. I'm going to get a good view of it, and then I'm going to bring this down. Hopefully I don't get my head in the way, but I'm going to bring this down so that I can get it lined up appropriately. So we're going to go about right here. There we go. Pretty dark, but it will lighten up. The basic gray lightens up. Okay, and let's clean this one off. And now what I'm going to do, underneath there, I'm going to stamp welcome. And again, I'm using basic gray. So let me see, I have 2 more stamps here, one that's got welcome on it. So let's go ahead and bring the basic gray back in again. And we're going to stamp welcome. And I'm just going to test it out here. I need to be able to see, so hopefully I'm not in your way too much. Okay, so we've got welcome. Perfect. And then let's clean this one off. And then we're going to do home in wild wheat. So we're going to bring the wild wheat in. And I've got my little home stamp. And we'll just bring it down here, and we're going to center home right here. Very good. Welcome home. Okay, so not done stamping yet. Let me clean this off. See if I can get my fingers from getting too messy. Now what we want to do is we want to bring in my scrap. And this scrap we're going to stamp twice. We're going to stamp the door and the windows in wild wheat because I need the wild wheat for the windows. So we'll go ahead and do this, and they're all together. So let me get a good coat of that. And I'm just going to stamp it right up here. Okay, so we've got that. Then I'm going to turn around. And I'm going to do the same thing again, only I'm going to stamp it in smoky slate. We're going to make the door a little bit lighter. So let me clean this off, use it again, and now I'm going to bring in my smoky slate pad. Okay. So let's go ahead and get it inked up. I'm just double checking to make sure I'm getting it fully coated. We're going to stamp it over here. Okay. And last but not least, I want a little heart. The punch has a little heart in it. And so I want my heart to be blue, but I don't have a blue stamp. I just have a punch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my dark Lost Lagoon, and just right over here, I'm just gonna color just a small area, and that is going to be where I'm going to punch my little heart. So if you see here, I can bring this in, and I'm gonna punch. Whoops, there we go. So now I have my little heart that I needed. And then we don't have, let me see, I might be able to punch the windows out. I can punch the windows out. So let me punch this window, and then I'm going to punch this window. So line that up. Well, actually, I don't need the gray window, right? I don't know why I punched it. But I do need the door. So really what I want to do is I want to move this piece out so that I can get to my window again. So I can put my window in here. Got it? Okay, so now I have my 2 windows for my house. And then what I want to do is I want to fussy cut this door because there's not a punch for the door. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to keep just a teeny tiny white border around my door. Do it this way and this way. Okay, so there we got our door. Let me get these scraps out of the way, and then we can start to put this card together. So here's our windows. I'm gonna move those off to the tray here. Okay, so let's start putting things together. So the first thing we do is take our cardstock, fold it in half. I've already scored it. And then we'll take this designer series paper, and it's cut the full length of the card front. So no borders, it's the full length of the card front. When you get your to-go kit, you get all the cardstock and designer series paper that you need to create 2 of each of these cards. But you also get a tutorial that gives you all the measurements and the step-by-steps. So not only will you have the tutorial to help you with this, but you will also have the video that will reside on Facebook for a little while. Facebook has changed their ways, and so they only keep videos for 30 days, but never fear, I always load these videos up to YouTube so you can find them on YouTube. All right, so this is our accent piece, and I'm going to place it about equal. Whoop, that's not really equal, is it? I wanted to say equal distances from side to side. Whoops. Slip slide in around. That looks good. Okay, now what I'm going to do before I put my circle down is I'm going to take a piece of ribbon. Let me move this back. I love this little gadget that kind of keeps my ribbon all intact. And I'm going to cut this, and then we're going to just fold it in half, or crisscross it if you will. And what I'll do is I'm just going to trim these edges up so I have a nice crisp edge over here. Well, I guess I need to hold it a little bit better. Oh, well, it would help if I used my ribbon snips because they're nice and sharp. Oh, big difference. I tell you what, if you need 2 pairs of snips. You need one for ribbon and you need one just for cutting paper. Paper dulls your snips, and when you go to try to cut ribbon with paper snips, it's very difficult because they're so dull. So I always keep my ribbon snips with a ribbon on it, so I know the difference between the two, and it comes in handy all the time, as you just saw. All right, I'm just gonna pull out my Stampin' seal. I think that's probably the easiest thing for me to do. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of, let me get this going, Stampin' seal across here. And then what I can do is I can take my ribbon, and I've got it crisscrossed, and I'm going to just lay my ribbon or my circle down on it. Get it layered up the way that I want. Maybe I need a little bit more Stampin' seal right here. Then we can go this way. And now I've got this. So I'm going to bring out my silicone mat. And the reason for that is I've got some seal back here and I don't want it sticking to my glass, but this will enable me to go ahead and continue to work on my house. So a couple things I have to do with my house. I'm looking for my take your pick, and I'm just going to take my glue, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here for my door. So I'm going to go ahead and get my door, and I can use my putty end of my take your pick, pick it up, and I'm going to put my door right about, let me see, right about here. And I can move it around and get it placed appropriately. Okay, then I'm getting, oop, I moved it. Thank goodness for the glue, right? Okay, stay put. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my windows. So I'm going to put a little bit of a dot over here and a little bit of a dot over here of glue. And I'll use my tweezers to kind of help me out. But I'm going to place this window down. And then move this around so I get it where I want it. Okay, we'll do the same thing with this one. Place it down. I think I need to move it up. Oops. Slippery glue. That's why I love it. Okay, so now we've got our windows. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little dot of glue up here and I'm going to place my heart. This is the heart that I colored with the design, with the Versamark. Just want to make, Versamark, with the Stampin' blends. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this up here. That looks good. So now we've got our heart. Yay! Okay, now what I need to do is I'm going to pull this up and we're going to take more dimensionals. And we are going to put this down with dimensionals. So let me go ahead and start pulling those off. Here, we'll do another one. We're coming up 2 at a time. How fun is that? All right, so I think I'm good. Maybe I need another one right here, right there. Make it even all the way around. And then I'll use my take your pick to get the backings off. Did I get that one? Yes, I did. Get this one off. It's not wanting to cooperate. There we go. That one off. Nope, this one needs to come off too. Got it. All right. Now, bring our card back in, our card base back in. And I'm going to take my circle with my house and I'm going to center my house on the card, like so. We've got that, and then the last thing to do is to bring in our bling. And I take your pick, and let's see, we'll do one up here. We'll do another one right, using my putty end here. And then I'm gonna use another big one right down here. Let's do that. All right. How fun is that? Look at that card, so pretty. Ah, very good. Love this set. Okay, moving on to our last card. Let's see, where is it? It's right here. Okay, so this one we're using Wild Wheat. Now remember I told you that Wild Wheat is one of our in colors and it's going away. I can tell you right now that the Wild Wheat cardstock is totally gone. I'm sad. But I have lots of it. I have lots of it because it's one of my favorites. So this kit will include the Wild Wheat. Now, if you're making this and you're not getting the kit, what I would suggest you do is this looks like, it could be a smoky slate, or you could even do like basic beige as your base, and you could create the same card and just use basic beige instead of the Wild Wheat. But we've got Wild Wheat cardstock, then I've got a layer of Wild Wheat. I've got pieces that we're going to do the inside with, so I'm going to set those off to the side. I've got my designer series paper. How fun is that? A fun designer series paper. I think I want my leaves going up. I've got another circle cut from the Stylish Shape dies, And then I have a piece of scrap that we're gonna stamp our house on, we're gonna stamp a heart on, and then I also have a piece of scrap for our sentiment. So let's go ahead and get our stamping done first. I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way. And we are going to use Lost Lagoon again to stamp. Now, if you don't have a Stampin' Pierce mat, if you wanted to, you could certainly use your silicone mat. It does give a bit of cushion, so you could utilize it if you wanted to for your stamping. Because the photopolymer stamps do not have any kind of a cushion, they stamp better when you're stamping to a cushion. If I were to stamp directly on my glass mat, I might get a good stamp, I might not. I just find that I have better luck when I'm utilizing my a mat, whether it's my Stampin' Pierce mat or even the silicone. So let's bring back in the Lost Lagoon. This time we're also going to do second generation. And what I mean by second generation is I'm going to ink up my stamp first. And first inking is first generation, right? So I'm going to stamp this off. Second generation is I'm going to stamp it again. Okay. See the difference? This is first generation, this is second generation. So let me clean this off. And now I'm going to bring out my roof. And my roof is also going to be in Lost Lagoon. But I'm going to do first generation because I want my roof to be darker. So I'm going to bring this in, making sure I get a good coverage of that. Move it out of the way so I don't get my fingers in it. And now I'm going to line this up and stamp my roof. Okay, very good. All right, so let's get this closed up. Now, in this stamp set, they also had a heart. And I want to bring out my heart. I don't have a die for it, but I can fussy cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my heart here. Since I'm going to punch that out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my heart here, and I'm going to stamp this in Smoky Slate. So let's do Smoky Slate. And what I want to decide now is, do I want to do Smoky Slate light or do I want to do Smoky Slate dark? Which means first generation or second generation. I think for sure first generation. So let me go ahead and get this inked up. Make sure I got good coverage on it. And then I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to stamp that heart right here. Okay, and then we'll clean this up and we will start to punch and fussy cut. Oh, I do have one more thing I need to stamp. So while I've got my basic, or excuse me, my Smoky Slate out, I'm going to bring in this little scrap that I've got and I'm going to stamp home. I have the home out. It looks like there's, well, I think I got it cleaned up good enough. I saw some wild wheat, but it's on the edge of the block, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm getting that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this stamped. Is that dark enough for me? I'm going with it. I'm going with it because my heart is in the Smoky Slate as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cleaned off and we can start to assemble this card. So we'll get that done. All right, so first things first, we need to punch, right? And I punched it at the end, so I can come up here and bring this in. And there's a couple things I'm looking at. First of all, I don't have any control over this punch right at the moment because all my sides are covered, and so there's nothing for me to hold on to. So I'm just going to show you how to deal with that. The other thing I want to show you, though, is part of my heart is showing here. I do not want my heart punched because I'm going to fussy cut it. So I'm going to take my heart off before I do that, and then I'm going to bring in a piece of, let me see if I've got another one. This is a piece of Post-it note, and I'm just going to put the Post-it note behind my image. So now I've got some control, right? So now I can go ahead and I can look at this and get it lined up the way that I want it lined up. Is that where I want it? No, let me do this. I think I'm going to come down this way a little bit. Trying to make sure I have enough white on each side, and I think that's good. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and punch. And I had to punch through my Post-it note. So we'll move that off to the side. And then I can just take your pick and pull that part of the Post-it note off. So let's go ahead and get that off. There we go. Pick these up. Put them over here. Okay, so now we've got our house. I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to cut my heart. And I want to leave just a little teeny tiny bit of a white border here. You don't have to. You could go right up to the edge and you wouldn't have a border at all. But I think that's what I want. So I'm going to try to do this so I have just a tiny bit of a border. And when I turn my paper and not my snips, but I don't want to go too wide because I find if I go too wide, then my border gets wide. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Let's see. So we've got this, and then I'm going to turn it again, and we'll get, oh, this is going to be a little bit skinny on this side. Oh well, it's homemade, right? Handmade. And so handmade is never perfect. They use machines for that. Ours is made with lots of love, and it's not perfect. So there we go. That's good. Okay, so we got that. Now let me go ahead and I'm going to trim up my home. I don't want it to be too wide, so I'm going to trim off that side. I'm going to trim off that side, and I think I can probably just skim a little bit off the top. All right, so now we've got that. Let me get these scraps out of the way so we can start to put this all together. Got a bin right over here. Okay. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my card base in. We're going to go ahead and get that finished. Okay. Then we have our designer series paper and our additional layer of wild wheat, and we're going to adhere this down. So let me get this lined up, and then I'll adjust it. Good deal. Okay, now before we adhere this to our card base, we are going to bring our ribbon back out again, and I'm gonna do two cuts. I'm gonna do my first cut, so I'm taking it just from one side to the other. So I want it down a little bit. I'm gonna turn it over. I'm gonna take my Stampin' Seal, get it going, and I'm going to fold this one over. Okay, and then I'm going to fold the other one over too, but I'm going to turn it over and make sure it's straight before I fold it over. So let me pull this back up and make sure I'm getting it straight. Okay, and then I can just fold it over to the back. Okay, there we go. So that's nice and straight. Then I'm going to take a second piece and I'm going to tie a bow. So let me make sure I get plenty enough to get my bow tied. And I'm going to actually tuck it under this ribbon. And then go ahead and tie my bow this way. So we've got this. Now I can go ahead and finish tying my bow. And it's actually saves on ribbon because you're not wrapping it all the way around the back of the card, but you still get your bow. Do that. And then we can go ahead and trim this one off. And again, I'm using my ribbon snips because they are sharp. So we'll get that trimmed up. Okay, so now we've got that. So now what we can do is we can turn this over, and I'm going to grab my dimensionals again, which I know that they're here somewhere. I was just using them, right? Okay, here we go. Dimensions. And I'm going to, since I've got ribbon on the back, I want to make sure that I get, this is just a sturdy layer. So I'm going to do it like a few more than I normally would use, although I like to use my dimensionals anyways. So we're going to go about right here. Make sure they're adhered. I'm going to take your pick, pull the back off of all of these, get them all together. There we go. And then what I can do is turn this over, bring my card in, and I'm gonna, because I want to have a little bit of flexibility, I'm going to put some glue on the back of my dimensionals so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. Has nothing to do with the adhesive because the dimensionals are very sticky and hold up very well. But I want to be able to move this around a little bit. And if I don't get it on well, which it seems like as soon as I put the glue on, I automatically get these put on really good. So it's kind of, it helps me get it on straight. Just by default. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna glue my house down on my circle. So we're gonna get it right about here. Okay, make sure this is straight. I'm gonna move it up just a tad. Okay, and then we'll take our heart and we're gonna glue it down. And we'll put it right here. Okay, so we've got that. And then we have our home. I may need my tweezers to help me with this. It's such a small piece. And we'll get it placed right centered with the heart. So let me look at it. Go up a little bit, over a little bit. Is that where I want it? I think so. Okay, so we've got that. Now what we'll do is we'll turn this over and we're going to put some more dimensionals on. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, let me pay attention to this. I guess it really doesn't. It doesn't matter. I'm just paying attention to where I'm putting my dimensionals because I don't want it to conflict with the ribbon. So I'm not going to go in the center, but it will probably touch the ribbon a little bit. But the ribbon's pretty thin as I look at it, so it shouldn't give me any problem. But that's what I was doing when I was double checking. So we'll bring this in, turn this over, and then I'm just going to kind of center this between the bow and, let's see, go this way. All right, then let me bring in my dimensionals, or not my dimensionals, my bling, and we're gonna bling it out again. So I'm gonna put them up here and here, and then I'm gonna do another one, probably right about, do I want it down here? I'll put it there. All right, so that's the front. We still have the inside to do. So let me open up the card for the inside, and this is just easy peasy. I'm gonna take my basic white card stock and get it adhered down. Get it centered in the card back. And again, it's just easier if I pick it up and look at it because then I feel like I'm getting a better view of it. And once I have that down, I'm going to take this piece and we're just going to center it across the bottom of the card. So I'm going to leave a little bit of white here, but I'm going to make sure I've got it centered on both sides. There we go. Card number 2, or excuse me, card number 3 is done. So pretty. All right, let me move these things out of the way so I can bring these back in. So card number 3, card number 2, right here. I'll bring these down so you can see. And then this is card number 1. How fun were these? We made these with the Humble Home bundle, which includes the punch. And you know, I'm just thinking people that have moved into a new home, or maybe you're new and you want to share a card with somebody in the neighborhood, or I'm also thinking realtors who perhaps have just sold a house and they can share one of these cards. So anyway, how fun is that? Let me come back and just say hello again before I leave. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I don't know if I gave you the date, but today is Tuesday, April 15th, also known as Tax Day. So anyway, it's a good day for some, not so much for others. But anyway, happy Tax Day. Thank you for being with me today. And if you are interested in the to-go class for free, all you need to do is place an order at my online store. You can go out to my website. All the information is there. Don't forget about the number of special events that I've got going on. The 2 heirloom arrangements and the link together technique. Those events, registration ends this week. And then the card clubs are open for about another week. So thank you again. And I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.